Hey guys, and welcome back. I'm Rachel O'Leary, and I realize I've been spending a lot of time on my houseplants lately. If you're new here, this is my fish room. In the past year, I've removed about 50 aquariums because big changes are coming. So I thought today we would take a look around at the current state of the fish room, peek into some of my favorite tanks, and talk about what's coming up in the next few months. Most notably, this weekend, tomorrow night at 7 p.m., that's Saturday at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, I am getting ready to get my first new aquarium in quite some time. My friend Kevin Kelly of Brooklyn Hardscape is going to be installing a new aquascape for me, and we'll be doing a live stream and a Q&A at that time. And then shortly after that, I will be both being the MC of the Keystone Clash as well as doing a live demo. There's a ton of great speakers, a really incredible fish show, and a large auction on Sunday, and that is September 13th to 15th, which is also my birthday weekend. So if you guys want to come hang out at the Keystone Clash, I'll make sure all the links to all these events are down in the description below. So the goal for this wall of the fish room is to eventually have all of these aquariums be displays. Right now, some of them are still set up as breeding tanks, but some of them are in the process of becoming more of a display tank. This is the recent sand aquarium. Everybody's doing really awesome. This aquarium's only about halfway stocked. You can see the panda cories, some of the splash tetras, the emperor tetras. I would like to add a pair of dwarf cichlids in here, I think. If you have any suggestions for that, let me know down in the comments. I'm thinking potentially a pelvicochromis or one of the nicer crib species, but I am not at all set in that, and I'd love to hear from you guys. So far this tank's doing really great. Right up above that is one of my Catfish hoarding tanks. Now this is one of my favorite tanks simply because it looks empty until you feed, and then it is absolutely bonkers with fish. Then we have my little wild Betta blackwater tank. We'll take a closer look at that at the end of the video. My baby Polypterus, my Endler and Black Darter Tetra tank, and then a tank that is an absolute hot mess that I'm just pretending doesn't exist. Below that we have my Super Red breeding tank, which also houses these Phoenix Tetras, which have turned out to be really stunningly beautiful, and the Super Reds are breeding like mad. There are just fish everywhere of all sizes in this aquarium, which is super rewarding. Up next, we have another giant shrimp tank. This is one that I need to redo and come up with a plan. I think I want to make this a fish tank so that I can show you guys some more unique species. Then we have my shellies, and you guys know I love my shellies. Now, these are the little Maltese. There's also some sardine cichlids, some dwarf sinnohs, and some ancestris in here. And as usual, these guys are breeding quite well as well. Someday I'll pull some fish. Then we have the big boys. I need to do a dedicated video about this tank. There was a bit of a catastrophe that I've dealt with, but it's a long story, so make sure you're subscribed with that notification bell on if you don't want to miss that. These are my big saddled Bashirs that I absolutely adore, as well as my 2 gar in this aquarium. And, you know, hopefully in the next year or so I'll be able to build them a much larger aquarium, as they're certainly going to need it. Then we have a bunch of breeding tanks. I'm not going to look too deep into any of these because, quite frankly, they're not that exciting. They house some super fancy plecos, a bunch of shrimp, and are just chock full of plants and caves for breeding purposes. Then we have my little ancient slate bottom metaframe tank that houses the cherry colony that I've been working with since about 2004. Then we have my Nano Nook, which houses my wild guppies from Colombia. They're doing great, breeding, just like guppies do. These are my favorite sort of guppies, the sort of wild, subdued, understated type. And this aquarium was actually my very first planted aquarium ever, and it's kind of getting a bit out of control, so it may need a revamp soon. This is the little fluval speck that houses my red Rilly shrimp. I set this up, oh, I forget when, honestly, but the shrimp are doing great. I moved most of them outdoors, but there's still some in here, and they're breeding and doing what shrimp do, happily picking at all surfaces in the aquarium. I do struggle with some weird algae in this aquarium. Then we have my Hillstrom. This tank is getting ready to be broken down. This was my first build on this channel. I absolutely adore it, but it needs to move to the other side of the fish room. You see, I want this aquarium to be in the display side of my fish room, and that's going to mean completely disassembling it and catching all of the crazy loaches in this aquarium, which is going to be quite the big job, but I'm sort of excited. This tank's been running for almost 4 years at this point, and I think it'll be good to refresh it. I never actually finished stocking it, so it'll be exciting to break it down, really get an idea of exactly what's in here still, move it to the other side of the fish room where I'll be able to enjoy it more, and then finish stocking it. Hillstrom species have some very specialized needs, and this aquarium is truly one of my favorites for all times. It does have some native shiners in it, as well as all my cool gobies, and you can see the immense amount of flow it has. Recently, I also added some bamboo shrimp, which are still doing amazing. But all in all, I look forward to moving that tank, but I'm a little nervous about it. Then we have my little purple oil catfish, and this is another aquarium where it looks empty until I feed it. And then if you just wait a matter of moments, all of a sudden fish come out of everywhere and they swirl around eating like Tasmanian devils, and I find it super exciting. I wanted to mention as well that I will be at Aquashella this year. Those dates are September 28th through the 30th, and I would encourage you guys, if you're interested in going, to get your tickets. I heard that they sold out at the Dallas event, so again, I'll have links to all these events down in the comments. And then I do also plan to be at Aquatic Experience in October. It's October 12th and 13th. So, you know, if you guys are interested in meeting me, if you want to chat fish, or if you just want to see what these events are about, I really encourage you to check them out. It's a great way to meet other hobbyists, see speakers, see demos, find out about the newest products, and really just, you know, get your geek on with a bunch of like-minded individuals. You know, from the hobbyist level Keystone Clash to the artistic spectacle that will be Aquashella to the more trade show sort of experience of aquatic experience, they all have something really unique. But the one thing they have in common is it's a great place to hang out with other hobbyists. You know, I really can't encourage you enough to come out to these events. Anyway, up next we have my 75-gallon South American. It's the only thing really on this wall of the fish room currently. But again, this is where I want to move my 150-gallon Hillstrom so that it can be near this aquarium. I do also plan to reset up the tank that burst. If you guys remember correctly, my birthday tank that housed a whole bunch of cool Lake Tanganyikan cichlids inexplicably burst a while back, so plan is to make a new custom stand over here to house the 150 and then 275s underneath it, and I think it'll be really, really like just an incredible display, the foil of the 3 different very specialized sort of tanks. You have this one that relies heavily on leaf litter, you have my river with that insane flow, and then we'll have the Lake Tanganyikan tank that'll have lots of rock work, and the 3 of them are so completely different that I just think it'll be super interesting to see them all near each other. But again, I'd love to hear from you guys. What sort of fish would you like to see me work with in the future? I'm going to be setting up a really large rack of small aquariums to be able to house all my fry and breeding efforts, which will free up some room around the fish room to do a few more displays, but I need to pick carefully. As you guys know, I keep all my aquariums for the long term. And then I just wanted to show you guys again the Blackwater Wild Betta Tank. These, of course, are my Chili Res Boras, but also in this aquarium are 6 Betta Embellis, which just recently have started to become more and more visible, and the male is absolutely bonkers. Well, there's 2 males and 4 females. This is the Black Darter and Endler tank. I saw that Black Darter peeking out, and I just had to show you guys, and then we'll go back to the Blackwater tank here in a second. Now, I do need to redo the Rooibos tea in the Blackwater tank. I've been hustling to get everything ready for this event tomorrow night, but I will be doing that soon. But check out these wild bettas. Oh my goodness. If that isn't a sexy fish, I don't know what is. As always, thank you guys so much for your continued support and for having patience with all my side projects of houseplants and rack building and everything else. Before too long here, we'll be moving in all the fish from the summer tubs, so I hope you guys are as excited as I am to find out how that went. And don't forget to tune in tomorrow night at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time if you would like to see the live install of my new aquarium, as well as the Q&A session afterwards.